Be ready. 15 seconds to go. 5 seconds to go. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I rise to present the budget. Our government was elected amidst huge expectations of the people. The expectations of the people in electing us was good governance. Their expectations include burning issues like inflation, price rise, and corruption in day-to-day transactions. There was also expectation for a major change in the way the country's natural resources were allocated, processed, and deployed. We shall continue to undertake many more measures to ensure that the fruits of growth reach the farmers, the workers, the poor, the scheduled castes, and scheduled tribes. We shall introduce various schemes for the welfare of women and other vulnerable sections of our society. Our focus will be on energizing our youth to reap the benefits of growth and employment. Madam Deputy Speaker, I am presenting this budget when the world economy is facing considerable uncertainty in the aftermath of major economic and political developments during the last 1 year. As per current indications, economic policy is expected to be more expansionary in certain large economies of the world. After poor performance in the last year, growth in a number of emerging economies is expected to recover. These are certain positive signs and point to an optimistic outlook for the next year. However, there are three major challenges for emerging economies. Firstly, the current monetary policy to increase the policy rates may lead to lower capital inflows and higher outflows from the emerging economies. Secondly, the crude oil prices has some implication on these economies. It is, however, expected that increase, if any, in oil prices would get tempered by producers of gas and oil. This would have an impact on prices of crude and petroleum. Thirdly, in several parts of the world, there are signs of increasing retreat from globalization of goods, services, and people. These developments have the potential to affect exports from a number of emerging markets, including India. Over the last 2 years, a number of global reports have shown that India has considerably improved its economic policies and practices. India has become the sixth largest manufacturing country in the world from the previous ninth position. Presently, we are seen as an engine of global economic growth. In the last 1 year, our country has witnessed historic economic reforms and policy making. In fact, India was one of the very few economies in the world undertaking such reforms. There were two policy initiatives, namely the Constitution Amendment Bill for GST and the progress for its implementation and demonetization of bank notes. My overall approach while preparing this budget has been to spend more in rural areas, infrastructure, and poverty alleviation, and yet maintain the best standards of fiscal prudence. I have also kept in mind the need to continue with economic reforms, promote higher investments, and accelerate growth. The Indian farmer has once again shown his commitment and resilience in the current year. Mr. Deputy Chairman, sir, I am sure the honorable members are aware that we are facing a very difficult situation in view of the failure of monsoon. The food situation has been with us for quite a long time, and so far as the agricultural program is concerned, I do agree that in spite of our best efforts, it has not been possible for us to achieve the various targets that we fixed for ourselves. To that extent, I am prepared to confess failure that in spite of our desires and in spite of our efforts, the production did not keep pace with the increase in population. But this year, the position has been made a little more difficult because of the monsoon failure. I have looked into the records of the behavior of the monsoon, and I find that within this century there has not been as much widespread failure of the monsoon as we have had during this year. Therefore, it may not be correct to say that it is mainly the failure on the agricultural front which has caused the present situation. This natural calamity occurs not only in India but elsewhere also. I was recently in Australia and I was told that they were also facing a drought situation which had not happened during the last 60 years, and they were destroying thousands of cattle for want of fodder, for want of even drinking water. In the same way, this year, Africa has been affected, South America has been affected. Unfortunately, even in the most developed countries, we have not reached the stage where we are able to get over the tricks of the weather. Still, agriculture largely depends upon the monsoon and monsoon condition. When the rain starts, the water comes into rivers and streams from the hills towards plains in such a manner that our farmers and our crops are damaged due to it, and despite all these years of independence, we are not able to make any such plan that can make arrangements of irrigation by stagnating the flow of flood water or save the people from the havoc caused by flood. It is impossible to estimate the heavy destruction caused to the crops. Therefore, in a country like ours, when such a natural calamity occurs, and if the production is affected in a big way, it is nothing surprising. It is this situation which we are called upon to meet. As far as estimates are concerned, there are worrying estimates, but my estimate is even during the wheat season, we may be facing a shortfall of about 8 million tons of food grains. The rice crop also is not quite promising because in the beginning of the winter, rains have not been quite good, and fortunately during this week I should say we have had heavy rains in southern states and in the bordering areas also. Sir, agriculture is an important subject because 75% of the population of this country lives in rural area and is dependent on agriculture.